right, you're learning systems of equations, and we want to see how we can actually apply this. So we have some information here. We have a mix A and a mix B, and I might differentiate those with X and Y. And it says that this dog needs 32 grams of protein, 7.2 grams of carbohydrates. Well, I can look at my protein and my carbohydrate, so I could say, well, this is in percent, so be careful. 0.3x plus 0.2, that's 30% and 20% y, has to equal 32. And then my carbohydrates, again, that being in percent, we'll change it to decimal, 8% plus 0.02 y has to equal 7.2 grams. And so these are my system of equations that I have to solve. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever taught you this in algebra, but it's a pretty cool trick that you look for the largest decimal, and when you find the placement in it, remember the first place? So a decimal has like these placements, right? This is the tens, this is the hundreds. Maybe you kind of sort of remember that. You can do a little trick. You can do anything you want in algebra as long as you do it to every single term. So what I could actually do is I could multiply every single term by 100. And you might be like, why? Well, you're going to see these are going to look nicer. So 20y, 320. So all I did was, 3,200, if I can multiply. All I did was multiply every term by 100. You're going to see the one below, kind of nicer. I'm going to get 8x plus 2y, and I multiply 7.2 by 100, and I get 720. So now I have something that's a little easier to solve because it doesn't have decimals. And I just have to try to think about, how do I want to solve this? Do I want to solve it with graphing? I don't know. Let's see. If you can solve with graphing, I always say go do that first, because, and what do I mean by can you solve by graphing? Sometimes, and I'm going to Desmos, desmos.com, sometimes when you graph, your answer might end up being a decimal. So you have to be careful if that happens, because they might want an exact answer. So let's just see and hope for the best, right? All right. So I'm going to put in my two equations, 30x plus 20y equals 3,200. I probably need to zoom. I'm rolling my mouse if you're wondering how am I zooming out. You can also use the plus and minus over here. And then I'm going to add an expression, 8x plus 2y equals 720. And what you're looking for is that point right there. And looky there. And so this is kind of cool, so I don't have to go through all those steps and solve. You see if I can write a little bit better, you can see that at the point 80, 40 was where these two met, and thus this says that my x then says I need in mix A. Okay, so mix A, let me say that like this, and then in mix B, then I have my answer. And so it's kind of nice, I mean, if you don't want to have to go through all the steps, if you can graph this. If you couldn't have graphed it, and again, meaning fractional answers, if you couldn't graph it, then you'd have to go through some of those other methods that I've shown in other videos.